Dr. Anwar will now cut the ribbons to the box containing the book, marking the official launch of Coming of Age by Ahmad, Nazmi, Ahmad. Coming of Age, a decade of essays, is a compilation of over 40 essays written between 2001 and 2011, covering a variety of topics, ranging from politics and economics to law and religion. For many of them, one man has been instrumental in this awakening. I have been surprised by the number of politicians I have met, both in the ruling party and in the alternative front, who said they went into politics or activism because of this distinguished gentleman. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to invite the iconic Dr. Anwar Ibrahim to say a few words.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, Pak Dari dimuliakan. Saudara saya Tan Sri Khalid, Menteri Besar Selangor, tamu-tamu yang saya muliakan, Sri Christine dari Masyarakat Cavendish, rakan-rakan. Saya amat berbangga pada petang ini. Kerana meluncurkan buku ini perkara biasa, tapi meluncurkan buku karya tokoh muda yang kita kenal, yang menaruh harapan, yang menunjukkan potensi dan kewibawaan, itu cukup membanggakan. Kita perhatikan perkembangan beliau, dan saya mula dengar masa saya di penjara Sungai Buloh, kemudian menemui beliau sebagai seorang pemegang beasiswa, maka tak kalah menganjurkan pidato saya di salah sebuah universiti terkemuka di London. Beliau terpaksa berundur di belakang supaya tidak dikenali ramai. Tetapi komitmennya itu tidak berubah, untuk berusaha mengenengahkan apa yang beliau yakini sebagai sesuatu yang harus diperjuangkan. Sosoknya sederhana. Dia tidak menampilkan tokoh muda yang garang atau radikal. Itu mungkin ikut ayahandanya. Tetapi pendiriannya itu keras dan tegas. Dan dalam pengalaman saya bersama dengan saudara Usin dan pimpinan dalam biro politik, di antara yang lawan hujah keras itu termasuk dia. Jadi sudah jangan ingat nampak orang yang sosok sederhana itu tidak boleh menyanggah, termasuk dalam saya. Kalau menyanggah Tan Sri Khalid saya boleh terima, tetapi dengan saya ini saya katakan membanggakan kerana ia menampak dan menzahirkan potensi kewibawaan kepimpinan untuk belajar, tetapi masih keras dan tegas mempertahankan prinsip yang diyakini. Menteri Besar, ladies and gentlemen, though the proverbial injunction warns us against judging a book by its cover, I am nevertheless particularly attracted by the title. Only that the question is this coming of age related to a nation attaining maturity, or does it signify to our author who has finally reached adulthood? All right. On a more serious note, Nazmi, don't worry, I'm not going to deal with you. Let me begin with the stanza from The Hollow Man. Those who are familiar with my writings or speeches are clearly familiar with Eliot. Between the idea and the reality, between the motion and the act, falls a shadow. Indeed, it is rather ironic that T.S. Eliot has adopted this central problem, which is to my mind the problem of inertia, indecisiveness, or even plain incapacity to act. a problem often associated with Hamlet. I see ironic because we know Eliot had a big issue with this play of Shakespeare, a great admirer of Shakespeare, but he had continuous argument or discussions in his writings. They became an issue because, according to Eliot, Hamlet, the Prince of Denmark, lacked an objective correlative, a fatal flaw which deprives the audience of an emotional reaction. Well, this is not a foreign to the issue, but is central to the Nazmi's thesis in Coming of Age. Is decisive against indecisiveness. It is principled against flip-flop political rhetoric that do not signify any sense of belief, tenacity of purpose, or even sense of conviction. So, I believe Nick Nazmi, like all of us, may have some problems or other, but one problem he hasn't had is the lack of motivation. I've gone through his writings, particularly because this is one of the key leaders that we, key young leaders that we, not just me, but the leadership in Keadilan in particular, have faith in. And that is why I think the first 2 years he was thrusted into this office of mine, using Khalid's old house, and under this tremendous pressure of getting the coalition together, getting the party prepared to go through the general elections. Or people like me, or Khalid, or Said Hussein, or Azmin, naturally no. But I think it's only fair to acknowledge the role of these younger leaders who helped us, who pushed us to do things that we quite disapprove of. I was initially forced to start a blog. It took months. And then came along people like Nazmi and his younger team, said, you must tweet. I thought it's quite nonsensical for a different reason. And I think, as alluded to by Christine just now, because I am a firm believer in the reading habit. People must read minimum articles, but preferably books. They just tweet in 140 words to say about everything on earth. But this is the reality, the changing circumstances, the new paradigm, the shift that we will have to acknowledge and conquer. So I went along, and I started getting some nasty pieces, some innocent. Who's your Baba? Why do you choose to dress that in that manner? Do you have time for your family? When was the last time you had dinner with your wife? I mean, I thought none of them brought the bloody business. But that's the stark reality. So I started arguing, quarreling with Nick Nazmi. See, he said you don't need to respond to all these questions. But this is example how we leaders, who at times tend to assume they will have all the answers, we can interact with all groups, would have to acknowledge with humility. And I will again quote my favorite English poet, S. Eliot, on humility, because he said, the only wisdom one can hope to acquire is humility. and humility is endless. Now, coming of age, some of you are quite familiar, some of you may have read, discuss a wide range of issues, some contentious, from the issue of Sharia, hudud is discussed now, or earlier on the issue of race relations, policies, economic, political, social issues. But what is consistent in Nazmi's views is a democratic society. Respect the notion of freedom and humanity, which transcend, therefore, racial barriers. This is a new thinking among the young, and this, I believe, must remain the thinking of the future for Malaysia. He's at the same time not a liberal in the sense that many of us would want to understand. Many of my liberal friends seem to think or to assume that to be democratic, to be modern, means to be liberal, and at times uprooted from your own religion or religious values, culture, or society. As a young person, he does not represent that view. A liberal, a democrat, a great humanitarian with concerns, but still rooted in religious values, tradition, and society. And this is what I believe to be the new way forward. Coming of age is certainly clearly more related to what he feels and we share as the policies that must be accepted and adopted by this great country of ours. The need for tolerance, the need for an effective democratic transition, the need to appreciate differences, and more importantly, respect, honor, constitutional guarantees, and the rule of law. He mentioned Malcolm X. Incidentally, I was with Chief Minister Guan Ek, Secretary of DAP, in these past celebrations of 60 years of past. And it's not easy after all these initial outbursts over this contentious issue of hudud. It's more difficult for Guan Ek than me. But nonetheless, what kept us together is our principal belief in the issue of democracy and freedom and constitutional guarantees that we can choose to articulate and defend our own position, even if we choose to strongly disagree, but we must not compromise on the need to achieve and reach consensus and move on without compromising the principles laid down in the federal constitution. And I think both of us, together with the past President Abdul Hadi Awang, made that abundantly clear. Of course, not reflected in the national media, for known reasons that, and you want to understand better the reasons, then you must read Coming of Age. Terima kasih, dan dengan segala hormat, dengan lafaz Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, saya meluncurkan buku Coming of Age.